ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. You get a call that a woman has been badly beaten. She can't describe her assailant. He's still at large. Your job, find him.
It was Monday, January 14th. It was raining in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 11:47 p.m. when we got to 7982 Oakwood Avenue. Front door.
What is it?
Police officers. We'd like to see Miss Griffin.
How do I know?
Beg your pardon?
How do I know you're cops?
Here's our identification.
Hand it here.
Pardon?
Pass it through the door. I want to see it good.
All right, here you are.
Yeah.
What do you think? Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Hurry up. Don't let all the rain in.
Yes, ma'am. What if I have my identification back, please?
Take your coats off right here. I don't want you tracking water through the house.
All right, could I have that identification card?
If you don't
please?
mind my being so careful about what's happened here. Got to take all precautions, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on into the sitting room.
I'll take that card. Thank
Which
you.
one of you is Sergeant Friday?
I am.
You're the one who called.
That's right.
Who's he?
This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Uh-huh. Well, sit down. Here's your card.
Thank you.
Get you anything? Cup of coffee? Maybe some hot cocoa?
No, thank you.
Well, suit yourself. Now, what is it you want?
We understand you know Mrs. Kieran.
We're neighbors.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you can tell us what happened here tonight.
Seems like you'd have the story, being cops and all.
Well, we'd like to hear you tell it, ma'am.
All right. I was here tonight watching the TV, just gone out to the kitchen to get a plate of snacks for the late show. You know, kind of like the munch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of a sudden, I heard this scream real loud. I wasn't watching the television right then, so at first I thought it was from the set, you know, like a drama.
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't think nothing about it right then. Got myself all settled for the movie, and then I heard another scream. That's when I knew there was something wrong.
How's that?
There was a quiz on the television. No reason for any screams. Right then, there was another one. Then I knew it was from next door.
Yeah.
So I got my coat and umbrella and went over there.
I see.
Knocked on the door, but didn't get no answer. Well, I went into the house, all dark, not a light on. Went right in and called to Mrs. Kieran, called to her.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't answer, but I could kind of hear something off to the back of the place.
Uh-huh.
Sounded like somebody crying, kind of like a whimper, soft.
Yeah.
It came from the back of the house in the bedroom.
You didn't see anybody else in the house when you went in, did you?
If I had, I'd have told you before this.
Go ahead, please.
I got to the bedroom and opened the door. Couldn't see anything at first.
Uh-huh.
Then I was about to go on in, and this man jumped out at me.
He was in the bedroom, was he?
Yeah, must have been hiding in the dark and heard me coming, and he got back so I wouldn't see him. Then when I opened the door, he jumped right out, almost scared me to death.
Well, what did he do?
Just jumped at me and ran out of the house. Right through the front door, I heard it slam.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard the crying again. It was sort of off to one side of the room. I couldn't see right away where it was coming from.
Uh-huh.
I turned on the light, and right away I saw her. She was laying on the floor.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it was just terrible. Room was all tore up. Things all thrown around, a real mess, and her laying right there in the middle of it, all beat up. Looked like whoever done it had tried to kill her.
What'd you do then?
Called the police. Dialed told the operator to send a policeman. It wasn't long before they was here. It seemed like there was 100 of them all over the place.
All right, Miss Griffin. I wonder if you can give us a description of the man you saw.
Other officers asked me the same thing. There isn't much I can tell you. Just all of a sudden he was there, and then he was gone.
You're pretty sure it was a man, though, huh?
Certainly, I guess I know a man when I see one. Been married to one for 22 years.
Yes, ma'am. Can you tell us anything about him?
I just got a glimpse of him, not good. I can't tell you anything but how he looked. He was standing in the dark when I come in. Next thing I knew, he jumped past me and went out the front door.
Yes, ma'am. Would you know him again if you saw him?
I don't think so. Just a glimpse, that's all.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to help. There isn't much more I can tell you.
All right, ma'am.
How is Mrs. Kieran? She going to be okay?
Well, she'll be in the hospital for a few days, but she's going to be all right.
Isn't she able to tell you something about the man who did this?
No, ma'am.
Seems like she'd be able to describe him. Must have been there for a good half hour.
How do you figure that?
Must have been at least that long from the time I heard the first scream till I got over there. First off, I didn't think it was real. Thought it was on television.
Yes, ma'am, you told us.
Must have been a half hour.
Mm-hmm. Now, did Mrs. Kieran have any enemies that you knew of?
Well, there's some people who didn't like her. A couple right here in the neighborhood, but none of them that would do a thing like this.
How'd she and her husband seem to get along?
Well, you mean, did they have any fights?
Yes, that's right.
All the time. Seemed like they was always battling about something.
Would you know what caused the arguments?
Oh, mostly about her and other men. He thought she was running around on him. He used to fight about it. A couple of times he said if she didn't stop, he's going to kill her.
Was that true?
You mean about her and the men?
Yes.
Well, might have been. For all I know, I didn't pay much mind to their troubles. Seems like I had too many things to keep me busy without getting mixed up in their problems.
All right, Miss Griffin, we'll leave our card with you. If you remember anything you think we'd be interested in, we'd appreciate a call from you.
And if I think of anything, you get one.
Thank you, ma'am.
Don't it seem kind of funny to you?
Well, what's that?
How Mrs. Kieran can't tell you anything about the fella? Don't that strike you kind of odd?
How do you mean?
Well, if somebody is in my house for that long, I'd be able to tell something about him. Something for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess with the lights off, maybe she couldn't see. And then again...
Yes, ma'am?
Maybe she don't want to tell you.
Frank and I drove back to the office and put in a call to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. We talked to Dr. Sebastian and found that the victim had recovered to the point where she could be moved to her own hospital. We also talked with the officers who were with her. They told us that the woman hadn't given them any new information and that they still hadn't been able to contact her husband. While I checked the crime lab, Frank went down the hall and ran the names Irene and Tom Kieran through R&I. 2:14 a.m. We met back in the squad room.
How'd it go in the crime lab?
Oh, I got it all here. You want to take a look?
Yeah.
Beginning to look like we got a good case against the husband.
Yeah?
Now, here. Here's a picture of the room. The woman was found about here. See?
Mm-hmm.
You can see the way the stuff's scattered all around the place, all through here.
Yeah. It looks like robbery.
Well, he wanted it to look that way, maybe.
What do you mean?
Well, in the dresser drawer here, the boys from the crime lab found $120 in cash. All the thief had to do was open the drawer, and he'd have seen it, too.
Oh. Well, how about the entrance?
That's something else that doesn't seem to gel. They checked all the windows and doors. There's no sign of any breaking. She must have opened the door for the thief.
Well, that means it was somebody Mrs. Kiernan knew, huh?
Yeah, it kind of looks that way.
Anything else we can use?
Well, take a look here. Here's a picture of a footprint Lee Jones found in the earth beside the path. The way it looks, the thief left the path when he ran from the house and stepped in the soft dirt.
Do us any good?
No, not much. The ground was wet. Must have been a good impression, but the rain broke down the walls. It's not much good to us now.
That's it, huh?
Yeah? Leighton Prince didn't come up with anything. How'd you do?
Well, nothing on the woman. Husband's got an arrest record.
Yeah.
Got it right here. Mrs. Kieran had him pinched 18 months ago on a beating charge. Refused to prosecute. Same thing a year ago. And here, besides her complaints, he's been booked for ADW and suspicion 211.
Done any big time?
No, never drew a conviction.
Hmm.
Now, Joe, thing I don't understand, if it was her husband, why doesn't she beef him? She wasn't worried about having him arrested before.
I don't know.
There's something wrong about it.
Well, there's got to be an answer someplace. You tagged the stats office?
Yeah, I gave him what we had on the guy. They're going to start a run on the MO in the morning. Better get the rest of this information down to him.
Yeah, we can drop it off on the way out, huh?
Right.
You got that list of the husband's friends?
Uh-huh.
Well, let's talk to them. Maybe they can tell us where he is.
Okay.
Hot shot. I'll get it.
What is it?
Stats office is going to have to wait, I guess.
Huh?
1824 Studio Court.
Well, that's a couple of blocks from Kieran's. What's the call?
Woman slugged. We left the office and we drove over to the address code 3. It was a small house set well back on the lot. When we got there, a felony car out of Hollywood Division had already arrived and the crime lab had been called. The victim was identified as a Mrs. Milo Hudson, age 42. An ambulance was dispatched from Hollywood Receiving Hospital and she was given first aid. She'd been beaten about the head and shoulders. As soon as the attendants had finished, Frank and I talked to her.
If you'll just tell us what happened, please.
Awful thing. Most awful thing ever happened to me.
Yes, ma'am. Did you get a good look at the man?
Pretty good. Not real good, but I did see him.
Could you describe him for us?
How do you mean?
Well, how tall was he?
I guess about as tall as you,
Be about 5'11".
if that's how tall you are.
Yes, ma'am. How about his weight? Was he heavy or light?
About like him.
That'd be about 180, huh?
I guess so. I don't know, but I guess that's about what it is.
What about his face? Did you see that?
Yes, sir. Got a good look.
You'd know him again if you saw him, would you?
I certainly would. Never forget that face. Not if I live to be 100, I'll never forget it.
Now, could you give us a good description of him?
Had dark hair, almost black, kind of curly. Little wave right here in front.
Mm-hmm.
Had blue eyes. Dark blue, might have been kind of hazel color. Dark.
Mm-hmm. Was he clean shaven?
You mean did he have a mustache?
Yes, ma'am.
No, didn't have anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything about him that might make it easier for us to identify him?
I don't think I know what you mean.
Well, did he have any scars, any birthmarks, anything like that?
Let me think. Seems there was something, but I can't remember what.
This man say anything to you?
Not at first. When he came in, he didn't say a word, just pointed the gun at me and motioned back into the house, like he wanted me to get back there.
Uh-huh, but he did say something to you later, is that right?
Yes. Well, we got to the bedroom, and he started to go through the place. I told him you better get out, because my husband will be coming in any minute.
I see.
He smiled and said he knew George didn't get home till 4:30.
He used your husband's name, didn't he?
Yes. Come to think of it, he did. I didn't pay much attention to it before, but he did.
Do you think you ever saw that man before?
Not that I remember.
But you're sure you'd know him if you saw him again?
I sure would. See, I remember what it was about him.
Yes?
You know, you wanted something about him that'd make it easier to tell if he was the right man.
That's right.
He had a scar. Small one right here by his eye. Made it look like his left eye was real big. Gave him a funny look.
Mm-hmm.
That what you meant?
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if you'd come down to City Hall and go through some pictures for us.
Well, I want to do everything I can to help. I'm supposed to check with my doctor. If he says it's all right, I'll be there. When would you want me?
Well, if you could make it in the morning.
If the doctor says it's all right, I'll be there.
Okay, thanks, Mrs. Hudson.
We can send a car for you if you like.
Might be better if you did. George likes to sleep late and I don't drive.
All right, ma'am. We'll call you in the morning.
Sure hope you can catch the person who's done this. Lord knows how many more people he's going to hurt.
Yes, ma'am.
Just seems to know all about people. When they're going to be alone and all, seems to know all about them.
Mm-hmm.
Knew right where everything in this house was, all the way. Knew right down to a T.
You're sure you never saw him before, is that right?
Positive. You don't forget that kind of face. See it once and you remember it all your life.
Well, has there been anybody new in the neighborhood?
I don't understand what you mean.
Well, like any salesman, door-to-door canvassers, anything like that.
Residential neighborhood like this, there's always somebody around trying to sell something. Must be a couple of people a day come to the door. But I'm sure the man who hit me wasn't one of them.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Not at all, Sergeant. I want to do all I can to help you get him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea who he is, where to find him?
Not very much, Miss Hudson.
Terrible to think about it. A man like that roaming the streets. Woman isn't safe in her own home anymore.
We'll get to him, ma'am.
I should hope so. But what do we do in the meantime? Just sit here and wait for this lunatic to kick the doors down?
Well, we'll do everything we can.
Awful. I'll never forget how he came in here, shoved me around. Just never forget it.
Well, that makes you even.
What?
He won't either. We got out a supplemental broadcast carrying the description of the suspect, and then we continued to talk to the latest victim. She was unable to come up with any additional information. 4:30 a.m. The crew from the crime lab finished up their investigation, and Frank and I went back to the office. We left the description of the suspect at the stats office, and we asked R&I to check the oddity file for a possible identification on the scar that the suspect had. 5:21 a.m. We signed out of the office. The next day at 9:26 a.m., we met with Chief Brown and Captain Donahoe, and we went over the case with them. Because of the method of operation used, it became apparent that the thief was acquainted with the habits of the people in the neighborhood. 2 additional teams of men were assigned to the case, and they began to canvass the area for information on people who appeared to be loitering in the vicinity. It was also decided to assign 3 more police units to patrol the streets during the night hours. We checked all FI cards that had been filed in the area. That afternoon, Milo Hudson came down to the office and went through the mug books, but she was unable to make an identification. She was shown pictures of Tom Curran, the husband of the first victim, but she stated positively that he was not the man who'd beaten her. The list of possibles came back from the stats office and was checked without result. A week went by. In spite of the additional men involved, the suspect hit 3 more times. In each case, the M.O. was the same. In each case, he escaped. However, we were able to get a little more information on him. We had the Artist and Crime Analysis Division draw up a composite picture of the suspect, and we had it distributed to all officers in the city. The daily papers ran it on their front pages. Thursday, January 24th, 5:20 p.m. Frank and I got back to the office from dinner.
I want to call Fay and tell her it looks like a late night.
All right, I'll check the book.
Anything?
No. You call her from Pinky.
Yeah?
He and Leitner talked to that magazine salesman.
Check out?
No, the guy just got in town a couple of days ago. Description's pretty far off.
Oh.
I got it. Robbery Friday. Yes, ma'am, that's right. Well, we can take it. All right. What's that address again? Yes, that's Studio Court. Yes, ma'am, we'll be right out. No, don't do anything. If he wants to leave, don't try to stop him. That's right, we'll be right there. Woman out on Studio Court.
Yeah.
Says she thinks the suspect's in her house now. Frank and I left the office and drove over to the address we'd been given on the phone. As we pulled up in front of the house, we could see a man standing on the porch. We got out of the car and we went up the walk. At the front door, we met the woman who'd called. She said that the man had rung the doorbell and had tried to force his way into the house. She went on to say that her husband wasn't home and that she'd managed to stall the man until we got there. We took him back to the city hall and talked to him in the interrogation room. He identified himself as Victor Nadell. Frank went down the hall to run him through records and identification.
A lot of trouble you guys are causing me. No reason for all this.
What were you doing at that house?
Trying to earn a living.
You have to force your way in to do that?
That old broad's off her rocker. I didn't try to get into the place.
She says you did.
She's flipped.
What do you do for a living?
I work, another way?
What kind of work?
Salesman.
What do you sell?
Right now I'm selling lots.
Real estate?
Yeah.
Where?
Tract out in the desert.
Who do you work for?
I don't think I'm going to tell you that. You're not going to get them in no trouble.
We're going to find out anyway. Now, why don't you save yourself a lot of grief and tell us?
You get paid, you dig it out.
You ever been arrested?
A couple of times.
Where?
Oklahoma.
What for?
Call it hijacking.
Robbery?
Same thing.
You ever do any time?
No, they couldn't nail it down.
Where do you live?
Got a room down on East 5th, room and privileges.
Who do you work for?
That's your job.
How long you been in town?
A couple of months.
You been working for this real estate company since you got here?
Yeah, I got the job a couple of days after I got off the train.
How'd you get it?
Answered an ad.
You ever see that woman out on Studio Court before?
No.
You don't know her?
I told you.
She'd have no reason to tie a bad beef on you, would she?
She's doing it, ain't she?
It's kind of silly without any reason, isn't it?
Well, she's a woman. That's all they need.
All right, empty your pockets out on the table here.
Why?
Come on. We're not playing games here. Empty your pockets.
Hey, what's this all about? What are you guys trying to prove with all this strong
We're trying to find out why you wanted to break into that house.
I told you I didn't break into the house. That old harpy's out of her mind to tell you a thing like that. I don't know why, but she's got it in for me. Wants to see me get into trouble.
You said you didn't know her.
That's right.
You never saw her before.
That's what I said.
And why'd she build a thing like this?
I told you I don't know it's a lie. I walked up to the door and asked if I could talk to her. Just try to talk to her. Right away she starts yelling at me to get away, get off the property.
Why didn't you leave then?
I wanted to make a sale.
You must have figured she wasn't interested.
Well, I needed to make a sale. I haven't been doing too good. I had to make a sale or I'd have lost my job.
That's a reason to act like a tough guy, isn't it?
All I did was try to talk to her, talk her into buying
you got a funny way of doing it.
I thought maybe she was going to call the police, make a complaint. If she'd have done that, I'd have lost my job, sure.
And that's all there is to it.
I'm telling you the truth. You got to believe me.
You been working in the neighborhood before?
No, it's the first time. I've been kind of sick the last week. This is the first time out for me. First time I've been around here.
Where'd you work before?
Westlake area?
You ever have any trouble there?
No, none.
Why'd you make the switch then?
Just thought I'd try a new territory, see if I could make up for the week I lost.
Mm-hmm. You got anybody who'll back up this story for you?
People at my rooming house, they'll tell you. They'll say I was there all week, some kind of flu. They'll tell you.
Joe?
Yeah.
See you a minute.
Yeah.
You want me to wait here?
That's right. Just sit there. What do you got?
Well, looks like we nailed the wrong guy.
What do you figure?
Call just came in. Radio car picked up a fella out on Rosewood Avenue.
Yeah.
Caught him in a house trying to beat a woman to death.
How about the description?
Matches the suspect right down the line.
Victor Nadell was booked in at the main jail pending further investigation. We were unable to connect him with any robbery, but Perry Thomas of the city attorney's office issued a complaint charging violation of Section 415 of the Penal Code. At 7:46 p.m., the suspect we'd gotten a call about arrived at the city hall. He was fingerprinted and checked through R&I. We found that he'd served a year and a day in New York State for breaking and entering. He'd served a sentence in the state of Washington on similar charges. Physically, he matched the description we'd gotten from the victims. While Pinky Meade and Dee Leitner contacted the women and asked them to come down to the office, Frank and I questioned the suspect. Rudolph Marnell, is that your true name?
Yes, sir.
Where do you live?
My home's out in Hollywood.
It's a big place. Narrow it down, will you?
Ledgewood Drive, 2917.
You ever been arrested?
Yeah, you know that. It was a mistake, though.
Both times?
Well, the second time was because of the first.
What do you mean by that?
Now, once you've done time, it seems like anything goes wrong, the cops are on your back, just like this.
Mm-hmm. You want to tell us what happened out there tonight?
You mean on Rosewood?
That's right.
Big misunderstanding.
Well, you tell us about it, will you?
I wanted to use her phone. I don't know. I guess she got scared about something. All I wanted to do was make a call.
How'd you ask her?
Regular way. Told her I was in trouble. Asked if I could phone. Next thing I know, she's screaming up a storm. There's cops all around me.
According to this report, you didn't stop when you were told. Is that right?
I guess so.
Well, is it or isn't it?
Yeah.
Why'd you run?
Well, I didn't know what was going on. I got a record. I had enough to do with cops to last me the rest of my life. As soon as I heard the sirens, I took off. I guess I didn't hear that cop tell me to stop.
Yeah. Kind of hard to believe.
Well, you believe the woman who says I tried to slug her. You believe her, but you don't believe me. You see, that's what I meant.
What's that?
Well, as soon as you fall once, there's a dozen cops right behind you all the time waiting to stomp on you.
You ever figure that you helped build it that way?
Well, it reads good, but you ain't got nobody on your tail.
All right. Now tell us again about tonight.
I told the cops who picked me up. I told the cop who fingerprinted me. I already told you once. Now, how many times you want to hear it?
Until we get it the right way.
Well, how are you going to know?
We'll find it. Come on. Let's go down to the interrogation room. Go ahead. Down this way.
Go ahead, right in there.
Sit down. All right, Marnell, now let's clean it up.
What do you mean?
You know we're going to have no trouble making you on these things. We got the victims on their way down here now. As soon as they identify you, you've had it. So save yourself a lot of time and trouble if you cop out now.
I'd like to give you a hand, Sarge. I really would, but there's nothing I can do. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. What were you doing on January 10th?
10th?
That's right.
What day was that?
Thursday.
Gee, I don't know. It's a long time ago. It's hard to remember.
How about the 11th?
Same. I don't remember.
14th?
Yeah, I can tell you about that.
All right, go ahead.
I got through work and went home, met the wife, we had dinner, took in a show.
You can prove that?
Well, sure. Ask my wife. She'll tell you.
All right. How about Wednesday the 16th?
Blank.
You don't remember what you were doing on the 16th of January, huh?
No, is it important?
Well, it's going to be for you.
How about the 17th?
That'd be Thursday?
That's right.
I stayed home and watched the wrestling on television.
You can prove that, can you?
Sure. Had some people in to watch the matches.
Give us their names, will you?
Yeah.
Who was wrestling that night?
Oh, you want them all or just the main?
Well, how about the semi-windup?
Let me think. Yeah, it was a tag team match between the McLean brothers and the South Twins.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
How about the 19th? What'd you do then?
19th. That would be
Saturday.
Well, I'm off Saturday. I don't remember too good. Probably came home, sat around the house, drank beer, and loafed.
Mm-hmm. That was Saturday the 19th.
Yeah, the 19th.
How about Monday the 21st?
I bowled that night.
Where?
Lane's out on Sunset.
Bowl there all the time?
Yeah.
You bowl every Monday night?
No, not every week. Usually it's on Tuesday.
Why'd you change this week?
Well, some of the guys couldn't make it Tuesday, so we changed the day.
Mm-hmm. Anything special to you about January 14th, 17th, 21st?
Now, what do you mean special?
Well, your birthday, your anniversary, something like that?
No.
Just regular days.
That's
huh?
right.
Nothing to make them stand out.
No.
Then how come you can remember what you were doing on those days? You can't give us a story to fit January 10th, 11th, 16th, or 19th.
I don't know. What are you guys trying to get me to say? What are you trying to get at?
The truth.
Well, I'm giving it to you.
We can't see it.
How come you remember those days?
I don't know. I just do.
It's kind of funny. I couldn't remember what I was doing last week. I'd have to sit down and think about it.
You didn't even have to try to remember. You knew right away, didn't you?
Like it was important for you to remember.
You keep trying to build an alibi, don't you?
Look, you asked me where I was. I told you.
Let's have the names of the people you say you were with.
You going to talk to them?
That's right.
Well, maybe they won't remember.
I think they will.
But what happens if they don't?
Then you're in big trouble.
You're holding a lot of it right now.
Let's have the names.
Sure, I haven't got nothing to worry about. I'll give them to you.
Here's a pencil. Paper there.
I don't know all the addresses.
We'll look them up.
You're going to have to talk to them, huh?
Sure. What's the matter? You think they won't stand behind you?
No, it's not that.
Then what is it?
Well, just that they don't know I've done time. Maybe when they find out, they'll try to get me. You know, say they weren't with me, they might do that.
Yeah, like that woman tonight.
Yeah, just like that.
People don't like you much, do they, Marnell?
Hmm?
Seems like everybody's trying to get you in trouble.
I want a lawyer.
You want to check, Frank, see if the victims are here?
Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen now?
Well, we got some people we want to see you.
Who are they?
The women you beat up.
No, you can't make me on those jobs.
We think we can.
Yeah, well, you just try. You take this thing into court, and they're going to throw it right out.
That's the way you got it figured, is it?
That's right.
Go ahead, Frank. Bring him in.
I said I want a lawyer.
What?
I said I want a
Yeah,
lawyer.
well, you'll get one.
Yeah, and a jury. I want a jury trial.
You got a choice.
You bet I have. You bring all these women down here to point me out, well, it isn't going to work. A bunch of people who don't like me, causing me trouble. People who don't like me. I want a jury trial, a judge and a jury.
All right, you'll get them. I'll make you a bet.
Hmm?
They won't like you either.
Rudolph August Marnell was filed on for 4 counts of robbery in the first degree, 5 counts of burglary in the first degree, and 5 counts of assault with intent to do great bodily injury. He was found guilty by a jury trial on all counts and received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years. Assault with intent to do great bodily harm is punishable by a term of from 1 to 20 years in the state penitentiary.
Dragnet, the story of your police force in action, is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to forgery detail. A group of check passers is working in your city. They've hit over 50 places of business. You have no lead to their true identity. They're still working. Your job, stop them.
It was Wednesday, July 11th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of forgery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 11:20 a.m. when we got to the corner of York Boulevard and Buchanan Street. The York Cannon Market.
Yeah, something you're looking for?
Like to see Tom Dawson?
He's in the back there over by counter 11, cold cereal.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Mr. Dawson?
Yeah?
Police officers would like to talk to you.
Oh, about the check, huh?
That's right.
Mind if I go ahead with this display? I'd like to get it finished. I got enough trouble with the boss as it is. I don't want to build any more.
No, sir. You go right ahead.
This fellow cop, too?
Yes, sir. This is Officer Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hi.
How do you do, Mr. Dawson?
Sure hope you can get the guy that gave me the paper. The way it stands now, I'm going to have to make it up out of my salary. I don't make that much. I haven't told my wife yet. She's going to scream like an eagle when she finds out. We got a real strict budget. Sure going to louse it up.
Do you have the check?
Yeah. You got it right here. Came back from the bank this morning. The boss gave it to me. Here you go.
Thank you.
Same as the others?
Looks like it, yeah. Here.
Thanks.
How's that look to you?
Sir?
The display, it'll look all right?
Oh, yes, sir. It's fine.
Got this mask finished, and it's all done.
What can you tell us about the man who gave you the check?
What do you want to know?
Well, what kind of identification did he use?
Well, just about the whole thing. Driver's license, social security card, gasoline credit card, the works.
Mm-hmm.
There's pencil notation on the back of the check. Just his license number.
Let me take a look.
Here.
Yeah, that's it. I figured sure it'd be good. Nice-looking fella. Sure never go him for a paper hanger.
Can you give us a description of him?
Yeah, sure can. I got a good look at him. This sure ought to sell this stuff.
What's that, sir?
I say this ought to sell this stuff. This mask. We're giving them away when you buy the breakfast food. Extra quarter and you get one of these head things. Kids sure go for them.
Uh-huh.
The whole display's built around it. You see, the finished mask goes right there. Makes it look like the cardboard kid's wearing it.
Uh-huh.
You want to go ahead with the questions while I put it together?
Yes, sir. Have you ever seen this man before?
No. Of course, he might have been around. We do a pretty good business. Could have been in, I wouldn't have remembered.
What'd he say to you?
Just came in and bought some groceries. Must have been about $1.50's worth. Asked me to cash a check. I told him the manager'd have to okay it.
Mm-hmm.
Told him the manager wasn't here. He'd have to wait.
Well, can't anyone else give the okay?
Not supposed to. If we do and something goes wrong, we're stuck for it.
I see.
The guy told me he didn't have time. Said he was on his lunch hour and he had to get the groceries home. So I asked him if he had any identification. He said he did. Looked all right to me, so I cashed the check.
Uh-huh.
Oh, say, would you hold this mask for me while I get the rubber band around the top?
Yeah, sure.
Now, wait till I wind it around a couple of times. We put these things up high, but the kids still find a way to get them down. If they're not put together good, they don't last long.
Uh-huh.
That'll do it. Let's see. I guess this is what goes in next, the eyepiece. Take the eyepiece and put it inside the mask. Slip into notches Y and T. I guess that's C's.
Did you look at the man's identification closely?
How do you mean, close?
Well, did you take a good look at it?
Well, good enough to think it was all right to cash a check.
It looked genuine, huh?
Well, if it didn't, I wouldn't have gone for the money.
I see.
Was there anything about the man that'd make it easier for us to identify him?
Not that I could see. He looked ordinary enough. Nothing special about him. Nothing that'd stand out. Oh, hold this a minute, will you, while I put the earpieces in?
This here?
Yeah. Thanks. I guess that's all there is. Put it up here on the top. And that does it. There. How's it look?
Fine.
Huh. Kind of scary.
Sure hope the boss likes it. Sure been on my back since that check came back. Seems like everything I do is wrong. Be glad when this day is over.
Yes, sir. You want to give us that description now?
Of the man who gave me the check.
That's right.
Sure. I want to do all I can to help. You think if you catch him, I'll be able to get the money back?
Well, that's hard to say, sir.
Sure hope so. $89.60. That's a lot of money. I hate to lose it.
How much was that?
$89.60.
Yes, sir.
Don't even want to think about what my wife's going to say. Liable to be pretty rough.
Yes, sir, we understand. How old was the man?
About 27, around in there.
About how tall was he?
5'9", I guess. Say, if you do catch him, how do you go about getting the money back?
Well, it's booked as evidence first.
And then I get it back?
Well, that depends on what happens at the trial. It's not up to us to decide, sir.
You see, the suspect has gotten to several other people, too. If there is anything recovered, they've got a share of it.
And I probably won't get what's coming to me.
Well, no, sir, but you can be sure of one thing.
What's that?
The suspect will. 11:46 a.m. We got the complete description of the suspect, and we made arrangements for the victim to come down to the city hall and go through the mug books. The information on the driver's license was checked through R&I and the Department of Motor Vehicles, and we found it to be false. The first bad check had come to our attention on February 16th, 5 months previously. Between then and the present forgery, the gang had taken approximately $60,000 from businessmen in the Southland area. All attempts had been made to stop them. The checks cashed were all issued for the same amount, $91.10. The checks were drawn on real companies, but on banks where no account existed. Examination of the forgeries by the crime lab and by handwriting showed that the checks themselves were not genuine. The signatures on each of them varied. The typewriter used to fill in the payee and the date was different in each instance, as was the check protector used. MO bulletins carrying pictures of the checks and lists of the companies that they were drawn on were gotten out to all supermarkets and check cashing agencies in the city. None of the precautions we took did any good. The gang continued to operate. Each of the victims was questioned, but the descriptions of the suspect that they gave us was different in each instance. Examination of pictures of known check forgers using the same method of operation netted us nothing. The stats office had made several runs on the information we had, but they were not able to come up with any new evidence. George Brereton up at Sacramento was contacted, and he furnished us a list of possibles. These were all checked out, and several arrests were made, clearing up other forgeries, but our prime suspects were still free, and they were still operating. Wednesday, 4:15 p.m., Frank and I came back from Captain Welsh's office.
Well, now we know how the skipper feels.
Now, can you blame him?
No, I guess not. We're doing all we can. If the people who run the stores won't look at the bulletins, there's nothing we can do.
Well, the brakes are bound to go with us pretty soon. They got to start sometime. I get it. Forgery Friday. Oh, just a minute, ma'am. Fergie around?
I don't know. I'll take a look in back. Hey, Ferguson? Fergie? No, he's not here.
He's not here right now. Can I take a message? Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. No, he's not working today. Yes, ma'am. Well, if you give me your number, I'll have him call when he gets in. All right. That's 98. Yes, ma'am. No, it's right in the message book. No, he'll see it. That's right. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. No, he'll look at the book when he comes in. No, the first thing. You bet. Well, you're more than welcome. Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Problem?
No, she just didn't believe that Fergie would get the message.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes Face has the same thing.
Sergeant Friday?
Yes, that's... Oh, hi, B. Come on in.
Wasn't sure you'd be in.
You know my partner, Frank Smith, don't you? Beatrice Dowling?
Yeah, we've met.
Sure, I haven't seen you in a long time.
Sit down, B. Here.
Oh, thanks.
There you go. Well, what can we do for you?
I just thought I'd drop in and say hello. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has at that. How's it been going?
Pretty good. Got myself a job when I got out. Things are working good for me.
How long's it been now?
A year ago, last January.
Well, is there anything we can do for you?
No. Might be the other way around.
How do you mean?
I never got a chance to tell you, Sergeant, how much I appreciated what you did for me, what you said in court.
Well, we just told him the truth.
Yeah, I know. It would have gone a lot harder with me if you hadn't been on my side.
Well, it's nice of you to think of it that way, anyway.
It's true. Never got a chance before. Now maybe there's a way I can pay you back.
Well, it's not necessary, you know.
I know. I want to.
All right, what do you got?
You know how it is. When you get out of jail, you meet a lot of people in the business. They all got a deal for you, something to put you back on your feet.
Yeah, I know.
Same thing happened with me. I stayed clear of it, though. Never went near them.
Well?
I'm not going to con you. A couple of times, pretty hard, but I'm on the road, and I'm going to stay there.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, you get rumbles. You know, things come up.
Uh-huh.
I got one the other day. More than a rumble. How about you right away? Figured this is the way to pay you back.
Well, what is it?
Met a guy in a bar, a little place near where I work. Usually after work, I stop in and have a beer while I wait for the traffic to clear up before I go home.
Mm-hmm.
The other night, a fellow come up and started talking. Nice-looking guy. We got to talking about different things. Nothing big, just things. You know how you do at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me what I did for a living, how things were going, like that. And he wanted to know if I'd like to pick up a few extra bucks.
Yeah.
Said that he wanted me to cash a check for him. I told him I didn't have the money. It didn't make any difference how small the check was. I didn't have the loot.
Mm-hmm.
Then he sprung it. He didn't want me to cash it myself. Said he wanted me to take it to the store and get it cashed. Said he'd give me half of what the check was for.
Well, why didn't he do it himself?
Well, I asked him the same thing. That's when he told me. As soon as I heard it, I figured it might be something for you.
Hmm.
He said the check was stolen.
Beatrice Dowling had been convicted of forgery 3 years before. She'd been sentenced to the California Institution for Women at Corona, California. Frank and I had a small part in the investigation that resulted in her conviction. During the trial, we testified that her cooperation had aided us in apprehending the rest of the gang and allowing us to clean up the entire operation. Since she'd been paroled, we'd lost track of her, but on those occasions when we talked to her parole officer, we found that she was living up to all of the conditions of her release. Frank and I took her across the street to a restaurant, and we talked further to her.
Pass the sugar, will you, Sergeant?
Yeah, here you are, B.
You don't use it?
No, thanks.
How about you, Mr. Smith?
No, thanks. I'll take a black, too.
Now, about this guy, what did you tell him?
Oh, I said I'd think over the deal and let him know.
Did you get a chance to see the checks?
A couple. Took him out of a wallet in his coat. I didn't get a good look at him, though.
Uh-huh. How about the man himself, B? Did you ever see him before?
I don't think so.
You know why I picked you?
I've been trying to figure that one myself. The only thing I can think of is that the bartender there knows I fell once. He might have given the word.
Has he got any record that you know of?
The bartender?
Yeah.
I don't think so. He likes to talk big, but I don't think he's ever done big time.
Mm-hmm.
You set up anything about meeting the man with the check?
Not definite. I told him I'd think it over. Asked him if I decided to do it, would the offer still be open?
Yeah.
He said it would. Said to look him up.
At the same bar?
Yeah. Said I could get in touch with him there.
Any special time?
He didn't name one. Now, I want you to know I wasn't even figuring to go through with it, not for a minute. When he told me the checks were stolen, I thought right away about you. Thought you might want the information. I never figured to get mixed up in it.
Well, we'll buy it.
What are you going to do about it?
Try to find out where the checks came from.
While you were talking to this guy, did he use a name at all?
No, not right out. While we were sitting there, another fellow come in and talked to him. I heard the other guy call him Cecil.
Well, how about this other man? Did you know him?
No.
Never saw him around the bar, huh?
No, I never did.
Well, look, B, there's something I don't understand. If you stop at this bar all the time, how come you haven't seen this Cecil before? Looks like he's a regular customer of the place.
You don't believe me, do you?
I'm just trying to get it straight.
I told you before, I only go in there about 5:30. I'm only in the place maybe 15 minutes, and then I leave. There's a lot of time when people are coming in and out that I'm not there.
I see.
Listen, I'm trying to give you guys something for free. If you don't want it, don't worry. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
No, it's not that, B. Frank and I have been on a thing for the last 4 months here. It's been giving us a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Think it's worth anything?
We're going to check it out.
Did this Cecil give you any idea where he got the checks?
They said they were stolen payroll checks, all made out and ready for endorsement.
Well, if they're made out, what about identification?
Well, he said he had that. All I'd need to put the checks through.
Did he show you any of it?
No, just said that he had it already.
All right, B. What if you come back to the office and check through the books for us? See if you can spot this Cecil.
Oh, sure. I'd be glad to help out.
I'll get a bill and we can leave.
I don't want to bring this up, Sergeant.
Yeah, what's that?
I hope you'll understand. I'm not trying to get out of line.
Oh, go ahead, B.
They know me in this bar. This fellow Cecil knows me. What'd happen if I went ahead with the deal?
You mean make the connection for us?
Yeah, line him up. Find out how the gap's working. Then you move in and make the pinch.
Well, we can't ask you to do that.
It's not your idea. I just figured that it might be easier all around. You and Mr. Smith will be right there. As soon as I get the information, then it's up to you.
Well, I'll have to check that with the skipper. We'll find out what he thinks of the idea. Might be pretty dangerous.
I thought of that, too. Only one thing bothers me.
What's that?
Someplace along the line, I'm going to have to tell this joker that I don't go for the deal. He's going to find out I'm working with you. When he does, be there.
We returned to the office and made arrangements to meet Beatrice Dowling the next day. Frank and I got the name and description of the bartender at the place where the Dowling woman said she'd been approached. We ran it through R&I, but we were not able to find a record for the man. The next morning, we met with Captain Welsh and told him of the idea. He agreed that it appeared to be the only way we had of stopping the suspect. We contacted Miss Dowling and made arrangements for her to be kept under constant surveillance. The same day, Thursday, July 12th at 5:20 p.m., she entered the bar. Frank and I were parked down the street in our car.
How about it? See the doorway?
Well, all we can do now is wait.
Yeah. Here. You want a cigarette?
I got one.
Oh.
What's the matter? You out a cigarette?
Yeah. You got one I can have?
There's some right here, sure. Here.
Thanks. Boy, I'll sure be glad to get home.
Well,
Yeah. Fay and me had a big argument last night.
Is that right? What's the matter now?
Oh, I came home. I guess about 7:30, around in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right after dinner, I got ready for bed. That's when I saw it. I should have known right from the start.
Should have known what?
Well, Faye fixed Swedish meatballs for dinner.
Again, huh?
Right then, I should have known. That's what had happened. You know, she always figures they'll soften me up so I won't mind.
Well, what'd she buy this time?
A new bedroom set. King-size bed, Joe. Mattress, springs, a couple of those new rubber pillows, you know, those bouncy spongy
Yeah, I
ones.
know what you
Well, I took one look at them, and naturally, the roof went off.
You mean she bought the whole thing, huh?
She refurnished the whole room.
Cost a lot of money, didn't it?
That's what I thought. I was pretty sore about it, too, and we had a few words.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was pretty bad.
Mm.
The time I got calmed down, she was asleep. Then I saw the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't believe it. You wouldn't either, Joe.
Yeah.
It wasn't big at all.
All right.
Yeah. I sure slept good. Think I could make it, Joe.
What's that?
You know how I'm always talking about sleeping for a week?
Yeah.
Well, the way I slept last night, I think I could make it. You know something I'd sure like to try?
Now, you're going to have to wait to try. Take a look down there.
Huh?
The bar. Beatrice coming out.
Oh, yeah. A couple of guys with her. They're acting kind of funny, aren't they?
Yeah.
The way they're shoving her around?
There's only one reason for that.
Yeah?
They found out about us. Frank and I followed the three people down the street. A half a block from the bar, they got into a black Oldsmobile sedan and pulled out into the line of traffic. We kept them under surveillance while they drove to the downtown area. We called communications and got a rolling make on the car. It was registered to a Cecil Maddox, 2482 North Alexandria in Hollywood. We requested that Maddox be checked through R&I, and we found that he'd been arrested twice before on charges of grand theft, and that he'd served one term at San Quentin and one term at Folsom Penitentiary. At the corner of Broadway and Clay Streets, the trio pulled into a parking lot, and they left the car. Frank and I parked our unit and followed them to a stationery store. From the street, we could see Maddox talk to a salesman, while the other man walked up to a display of typewriters. He took a slip of paper from his pocket and apparently tried the machine. By the time he was finished, Maddox had gotten through talking to the clerk, and they used the same piece of paper to try a check protector. During this operation, Beatrice Dowling stood by and waited for him. Finally, the three of them left the store and walked 2 blocks east to a large market. There, we saw Maddox hand the Dowling woman an envelope. After that, she entered the store and came back a few minutes later. Frank and I were about 10 feet from the pair of checkmen when the woman returned.
Peter.
How'd it go?
Thank you, Fred. Here's the money.
Okay, let's go to a bar. We'll make the split.
Half this is mine, huh?
That's the way it was set up. Let's go.
Come on, Frank. All right, Maddox, hold it up.
What for? What's this all about?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
For what? Go ahead, spell out the beef.
How's forgery fit?
I don't know. You won't hang it on me.
Don't book it, mister. You'll get short odds.
It's the wrong beef. I won't
You
buy
already
it.
have.
Huh?
You paid for it with a bad check. The 2 suspects were taken to the city hall. The second man was identified as Raymond Johnstone. We checked him through records and identification, and we found that he'd had a long felony record. He'd served sentences in both San Quentin and Folsom, and from the record we found that he was in Folsom at the time Maddox was serving his term. We talked to Johnston for an hour, but he refused to admit any complicity in the forgeries. 9:15 p.m., Officers Ferguson and Regan went out to the address we'd gotten for Maddox, and Frank and I talked to the suspect in the interrogation room. All right, come on, Maddox, empty your pockets.
What for?
Because we want you to.
Do I get the stuff back?
Put it on the table.
I haven't got anything. Nothing you want.
Well, you let us figure that one.
Come on the table.
There's a wallet. Handkerchief. Change. Package of gum and keys, and that's it.
All right, now the coat pockets.
Cigarettes. Lighter. Some more change and parking stuff.
Inside pockets, too.
There's nothing there you'd be interested in.
Inside pockets.
A couple of letters, that's all.
All right, let's take a look. Your true name, Cecil James Maddox?
Yeah.
Who's this stuff belong to?
I don't know anything about it.
Driver's license, Social Security card, oil company credit card. These don't belong to you, do they?
Take a good look, cop. You see my name on them?
We found them in your pockets.
Cleaner must have left
Oh,
them
come off it, Maddox. We got you nailed and you know it.
there. You got to show me.
All right, these other envelopes here. Same thing on all of them. Now, where'd you get them?
I told you, I got a sloppy cleaner.
Frank, you want to check, see if Fergie's back?
Yeah, sure.
You got any money in the wallet?
Couple of bucks.
Take it out.
Sure. I'll give it to you.
Keep it in your hands. Just give me the wallet.
You find anything interesting in there, and I'll split it with
Yeah,
you.
sure. How about these checks? Where'd you get them?
I forget.
Well, you better start remembering, mister.
I'm trying. It just isn't working out.
Pretty important that you do.
I think I found them.
Where?
I don't remember.
You turn up with $500 worth of checks and you don't know where you got them, huh?
I haven't got the slightest idea.
Oh, what about this receipt? What's it for?
I don't know.
It's in your wallet. You must have put it there.
Look at the back. Maybe there's a phone number on it. Maybe that's where I kept it.
No phone number here.
Well, then I can't tell you where I got it. I guess I've been carrying it around for a long time.
Dated a couple of months ago.
That's a long time. to
Look,
me.
what are you trying to prove with this innocent pitch? You know we got you going in. We're going to make a forgery complaint stick. Now, why are you trying to make it harder?
I don't think you can trip me for the beef.
There's a couple of officers over at your apartment now. If they come up with the press you used to print up the checks and the identification, you've had it, mister.
If they find the press.
That's right.
Only one big hole in the fairy tale.
Is that so?
I haven't got a press. I don't know where I got those checks. I think I bought them. You try to take me to court on that kind of evidence, and you'll make the front page as the dumbest cop of the year.
Joe,
Yeah.
got something for you.
You wait here, Maddox.
Only one door, and you're in front of that. I'm not going anywhere.
Just sit still. Yeah.
How's it going?
Not too good. He won't cop out. How'd you do?
I talked to Fergie. They went over Maddox's apartment.
Yeah.
I didn't find anything.
We went back into the interrogation room and we talked to the suspect. He'd admit nothing. We talked to Raymond Johnstone, but he refused to cooperate with us. A thorough search was made of their car, but we failed to turn up anything new. We contacted the printer who'd made up the receipt blanks. He checked his records, and he was able to give us the address of the place that had ordered him. Officers Ferguson, Regan, Frank, and I drove out to the place. It was a cheap hotel located on East 7th. We checked with the desk clerk and showed him the receipt. He told us that two men answering the descriptions of the suspects had rented a room 2 months previously. He went on to say that there was a third man with the pair and that he was in the room at the time. We asked about luggage, and the clerk said that the trio had moved in several large trunks. We got the room number, and while Ferguson and Regan covered the rear of the building, Frank and I went up to the room.
Down this way.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Paul Hadley,
Yeah, that's right. What do you want?
I'd like to talk to you.
I'm kind of busy right now. What's it about?
Police officers.
Get out of here.
All right, come on.
You got no call to bust in here. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Then why'd you try to keep us out?
I just don't like cops running all over the place.
Where's that door go?
Bedroom, but there ain't nothing in there that concerns you.
I'll take a look.
You stay out of there. What's this all about anyway? What are you cops trying to build?
How about it, Frank?
Take a look.
Come on, Hadley, over here. Press and everything, huh?
I do a little printing for the neighborhood people. There's nothing that concern you.
You do work for the Department of Motor Vehicles, too?
What?
These driver's license blanks, what are they for?
Who tipped you?
What?
Who told you about the plant? Who told
Does
you?
that make any difference?
You bet it does. All the difference in the world. I don't know what they told you, but I'm not going to take the beef alone. I'm not going to take it alone.
That's so?
Yeah. You go back and tell Cecil and Ray that they're going with me. I'm not going to carry this by myself. You tell them that, will you?
Sure.
Phony deal anyway. I sit here with the press, all the checks. Anything goes wrong, I'm the one that stands for it. They're out with the money. One-sided, that's what it is. They get the kicks, I get the work. One-sided.
No, not this time.
Huh?
You're all going to come out even.
Cecil James Maddox, Raymond Richard Johnstone, and Paul Milton Hadley were tried and convicted on 18 counts of forgery. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Forgery is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for not more than 1 year, or by imprisonment for not more than 14 years in the state penitentiary.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet,
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. You've been looking for a suspect in a market robbery for 3 weeks. Finally, an informant calls you with information. Your job? Check it out.
It was Tuesday, February 17th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:56 by the time we parked our car and got to 4278 Winona, the Balinese room.
Hi, Joe, Frank.
Dan, how's it going?
I'm walking around, about all I can expect. Sit down.
Thank you.
Get you anything?
No, thanks.
No, thanks. Just made a fresh pot of coffee in back. Like a cup?
Yeah, I might go for one.
How about you, Frank?
Sure.
I'll get it. Hey, you both take it black, don't you?
That's right.
Yeah, man.
What was it you wanted to talk to us about?
What?
I say, what was it you wanted to see us about?
Just a minute. I'll be right with you. Here, you want to take one of these cups?
Yeah. Here, let me give you a hand there.
All right.
Here you go, Frank.
Thanks.
What do you got for us, Dan?
I read in the paper a couple of weeks ago where you had a stick-up at that big market out in the valley. Is that right?
Yeah. Thief made it with close to $7,000.
You got anything on it? Well, what'd the guy look like?
Well, the description we got was 28 to 30, 5'8", 5'10", 145 pounds, dark hair, dark eyes. Wearing a leather jacket and denim pants. It was all in the paper, Van.
Well, it might fit then. All except the clothes.
Huh?
There's been a bohunk hanging around here the last couple of weeks. Got a roll that'd make a horse pretty sick.
Yeah?
The funny part is that I've seen him around here for a year, and he never had 2 dimes to rub together. All of a sudden, he turns up loaded. Popping for drinks all over the place. Loaded down with expensive watches, good clothes, everything that goes with money.
What's his name, you know?
Well, I don't know the whole thing. Been calling him Nick. That's all I know.
He matches the description pretty close, huh?
All except the clothes. Rags he's carrying now are the best. Don't look like they come from plain racks.
Mm-hmm. Did you come up with any kind of a story about the money?
No, I kind of hinted at it a couple of times, you know, in a joking sort of way. I didn't want to be too nosy.
Yeah, I know.
All he says is that he met the locksmith to Fort Knox. Passed it off as a big joke. Says he found the easy way to live.
Well, might be our man.
Do you have any close friends?
No, Joe, he plays it kind of solo. He dated Madge a couple of times.
Who's mad?
She's a waitress here. Comes in about 6. She works the tables in back.
Mm-hmm. Did she tell you anything about the guy?
No, I asked her, but she says they had dinner, took in a couple of clubs, then he took her home. Played it straight all evening.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of worried Madge for a couple of days after. Figured she was kind of slipping a little.
You didn't say anything to her, huh?
No kind of a tip-off. Played it real straight, like I said.
Do you have a job?
Well, not so as you'd notice. Doesn't seem to have any working hours. Used to walk in here at all hours.
Got any other friends?
No close ones. He'd buy drinks for anybody that was around when he was popping, but he never came in with nobody. He never left with anybody.
You seen him around lately?
No, not for a couple of days.
Got any idea where he lives?
No, I don't think he pads down here in the neighborhood.
How about a car?
No go. All the time I saw him, he rode cabs. Took him here and left in them.
Well, last time he left, you say where he was going?
No, just shoved off. Said he might not be around for a couple of days and have a hot cup of Irish coffee waiting for him when he got back.
What's Irish coffee?
Oh, it's a new drink. I got it from a friend of mine up in San Francisco. A cup of coffee, Irish whiskey, topped with a jolt of whipped cream. This Nick drank 'em all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the whole place on him. You come in some night, we got more coffee cups on the bar than glasses.
Mm-hmm. Didn't give you any idea where he was going, did he?
Well, if he threw it, I didn't hear it.
Anybody around the place you might have talked to?
Well, I can't give you no names. Might talk to Madge. I don't think she'll come up with anything, but you can try.
What time did you say she came in?
6. That's when she's supposed to check in. Once in a while she's late, but she's supposed to have her apron on about 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Van, thanks for the call. We'll be back.
Now, if this Nick comes in, give us the ring, will you?
Sure, if he's in town, he'll be back.
Yeah?
Sure. He's all the time telling me we got the best Irish coffee in town. That's all he drinks, so it figures he'll be here to get some. Right away I see him, I'll give you a call.
All right, thanks, man.
I sure hope it's the guy you're after.
Yeah, so do we.
7 G's, a lot of money. Can buy an awful lot with that.
Well, you better take it easy.
Yeah?
You better not hit that Irish coffee too hard. 3 weeks previously, on Monday, January 19th at 9:40 a.m., a masked man had walked into a supermarket at the corner of Laurel Canyon Boulevard and Camarillo Street and held up the store for a total of $7,367. The alarm had gone out immediately, but the holdup man succeeded in getting out of the area. All routine procedure had been followed, but it resulted in no information to put us any closer to the thief. Local broadcasts and APBs had been gotten out. The description of the thief had been taken and checked through the stats office. All leads had been followed up without result. The phone call from the bartender appeared to be our first break in the case. Frank and I went back to the city hall and checked the name Nick and the description through the moniker file in R&I. There were only 4 possibles turned over to us. We showed the mug shots to the bartender, but he couldn't give us an identification. We got the home address of Madge, the cocktail waitress, and we went out to see her. Her landlady told us that she wasn't home and that when the girl had left, she said she'd go straight to work. We waited for her at the bar, but after talking to her, we had no additional information to work with. The following morning, we began to canvass the neighborhood. We talked to shopkeepers and store owners. In several clothing stores, we found clerks who thought they remembered the man, but they were unable to give us any information on him. Late that afternoon, we talked to a jeweler. We asked if he had a customer who might fit the description of the suspect.
Yes, sir. Seems to me I remember a man like that.
What can you tell us about him, Mr. Hobbs?
Not much. Bought quite a bit of merchandise. What is it you want to know?
Could you give us his name?
I'm afraid not.
How about receipts? Anything like that?
No, sir. It was a cash sale. There was no reason to take his name.
Uh-huh.
Can you give us any information on him at all?
Maybe if you could tell me what this is all about, I could help you out.
Well, it's a police matter, Mr. Hobbs.
You must understand, Sergeant, I want to do what I can, but it's rather difficult without knowing exactly what it is you're after.
Well, we want to find a man. Any information you have that'll help us do that will be appreciated.
I'm afraid there's nothing I can do for you.
Well, how about the things he bought?
You want the complete list?
Yeah, how much did he buy?
I'll have to look it up. Just a minute.
All right, sir. Keep a record of your sales, do you?
Yeah, I have to for tax purposes. Just a minute.
Uh-huh.
I'm not certain of the date. Take a minute to find.
All right, sir. Take your time.
Let's see. Yeah. Here it is. Bought a gold tie bar, set of cufflinks, and a wristwatch.
Can you give us the description of the goods?
Plain gold tie bar, square ends. Cufflinks were plain, sort of square design, no relief work.
How about the watch?
A Patek Philippe, solid gold.
Anything about the watch that would make it easier to identify?
No.
You got a record of the case and movement number?
Mm-hmm. You want that?
Might help.
Yeah, I can get it for you.
All right, fine. How'd he pay for this merchandise?
In cash.
Yes, sir, but what about the denominations of the bills? Would you remember what they were?
No, I'm sorry, Sergeant. I can't help you there. It was a while ago, and I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything at all about the man that might help us identify him? An accent, maybe? Way walk, way dress?
No. He was well-dressed, conservative. Well, except the tie. That was rather jarring.
What's that?
He had on a dark flannel suit, button-down collar, black shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything went together except the tie. It was bright red.
Mm-hmm. What about his speech? Was there anything there?
Not that I remember.
Nothing else about it?
No, sir.
Well, all right, Mr. Hobbs. I'm going to leave one of our cards with you. If you think of anything else, we'd appreciate a call.
Mm-hmm. As for you, Mr. Friday?
Well, either me or Frank Smith here.
All right. If I think of anything.
If you'll get the numbers on the watch for us, please.
Oh, yeah, almost forgot. Say, there is something.
Yes, sir?
When he bought the new watch, he was wearing one.
Uh-huh.
Asked me if I'd give him anything for it. Wanted to trade it in.
Yeah.
I told him it wasn't worth anything to me. Suggested he try to sell it to a second-hand store.
Yeah.
He said he's seen the last of hock shops. Said if I didn't want to buy the watch, he'd make me a gift of it.
Well, did you take it?
He left it here.
You still have it?
I think it's still in the back. I got a box of old parts. His watch might be in there.
Wonder if you'd mind checking that, sir.
Yeah, just a minute. Let's see if I can find it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I don't know. It might be something.
Well, we're due for a break.
Yeah.
We're going to tag the office after this?
Yeah, I guess so. You going to go home for dinner?
No, not tonight. Fay's got the girls from the bridge club coming over. I thought I'd go by Alan Lum's, get some shrimp and lobster. You want to go with me?
Where?
Alan Lum's.
Oh, yeah.
Good lobster place.
Sure, I'll go with you.
Hey, here. It is. Watch is in here now someplace.
What kind of a watch is it, sir?
Off-brand. Should be here someplace.
But this one here, broken, huh?
Let me see. Oh, yeah. Why?
Oh, nothing special. Kind of nice looking. Thought if it worked, we might be able to make a deal.
If I sold you that one, I'd be in jail tomorrow, sure.
Huh.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, here. Here it is.
This is it?
Yes, sir.
Well, now, is there anything about the watch that would make it possible to tell where it was bought?
No, sir. It's a cheap brand. Most of the drugstores in town carry them.
Uh-huh. Well, if you mind if we take it with us, we'll give you a receipt.
That won't be necessary. I trust you.
We appreciate it, Mr. Hobbs. We'd better give you a receipt.
Well, all right. I'll get the book. Oh, I just thought of something. Might not work, but it's worth a try.
Yes, sir. What's that?
Just a minute. Yeah, he did.
Sir?
He had the watch repaired at one time or another. You see here?
Let me see. No, I don't believe I see what you mean.
Well, here. See the initials there and the numbers?
It's RJ10567, is that it?
Yeah. That's the initials of a watch repairman who worked on the watch. That should make it pretty simple, shouldn't it?
Yes, sir, it'll help.
Yeah, simple. All you have to do is find R.J. and get the name of the man who had work number 10567. He should be able to give you the name of the man you're looking for. Oh, simple.
Yes, it's not quite that easy, but it's a place to start. We left the jeweler and we went back to the office. We checked the phone book for a watch repairman with the possible initials of R.J. Frank got on one phone and I got on another. There was a long chance that the watch had been bought and serviced in Los Angeles. We went through the watch repair companies with the initials we were looking for, and then we started at the top of the list of jewelry concerns. I see.
That's right, sir. Well, thank you very much.
That's all the information we have.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
No, I wouldn't be able to tell you any more than that. Bye.
I got nothing.
Well, we better get on it or we're going to have to wait until tomorrow. 5:20. Most of the place is closed in a few minutes, so let's stay with it.
Yeah. It's getting so I can't see the numbers on this dial anymore.
This is Sergeant Friday, Los Angeles Police Department.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Officer Frank Smith.
No, there's nothing
Los Angeles
wrong.
Police Department.
Do you have a watch repairman who uses
Wonder
the
if you
initials
could give me some
RJ?
information.
No, that's R.J.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Do you have a watch repairman who
I
uses
see.
the initials R.J.?
No, sir. No, we're looking for
R for
information,
Robert,
that's
J
all.
as in James. Mm-hmm. We'd like to
Nothing
talk
at
to
all.
you. Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. Thank you.
I'll wait.
Bye.
Thank you. I'll hang on.
Nothing here. I don't know. Maybe we got a dead end.
Yeah. She's gone to look here. I see. Mm-hmm. What's that? Uh-huh.
Hello, this is Sergeant
Wait just a
Friday,
minute,
Los
will you?
Angeles Police
Hey, hold it,
Department.
Joe. I got one.
Just a minute, please. Would you hold on?
Yeah,
a minute,
that's right.
please? What'd
This
you
is
say?
Frank Smith. Hang on a minute. I got one. This is Frank Smith, robbery detail? Uh-huh. Can you tell me who gave you the work number? Uh-huh. No, can you tell me who you gave the work number 10567 to? That's right. 10567. Yes, sir. I'll hang on. Got a guy now. He's checking it.
Does it look good?
Well, might be. Place down on 5th. West 5th.
Well, I'll let this one go for a minute.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right,
that's
sir.
right. Well, I'll call you back.
567.
No, it's nothing important,
Who?
sir. Well, I may call back. I may
Do you
not.
have an address for him?
Yes, sir. Thank you very
I
much.
see. Do you remember him at all? Mm-hmm. Well, thanks very much. We'll get in touch with you. Well, according to this guy, the watch was brought in by Mike Langley.
Well, maybe we know who we're looking for now.
Well, there's another problem, though.
Yeah.
There's no address on Langley.
We checked the name Langley through R&I, but without any description to work with, there was little chance that we'd find anything. We checked the description on the arrest reports against that of our suspect, and we ruled out all the possibles that we came up with. We checked the name in the phone book, but we found no listing. We checked the city directory without result. 6:15 p.m. We got in touch with the utility companies and asked them to check their records. They told us they'd call us back by the next morning with the information. Wednesday, February 18th, 9:12 a.m. Frank and I were in the squad room. I got it. Robbery Friday. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm. 2647 Gilbert. That's G as in George, I-L-B-E-R-T. Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Well, how long have they had that service? Uh-huh. Right, you betcha. Thanks very much. Friday. Yes, right. Thanks very much.
They came up with it, huh?
Yeah, looks real good here. Service started on Friday, January 16th.
Yeah.
2 days before the robbery. (9:52 a.m.) We made another check at R&I, and then we left the office. We drove out the Hollywood Freeway, turned off at Vermont, and drove over to Gilbert. 2647 was the last unit in the Spanish-style court. Frank covered the back of the place, and I went up and rang the doorbell. The door was opened by a woman in her late 20s. She identified herself as Mrs. Pearl Langley. We asked about her husband. She told us he was at work. Frank and I got the address and drove over to the place. Mike Langley was a fry cook in a small restaurant on Spring Street. We took him back into the manager's office, and we talked to him. He matched the description of the suspect very close.
You're way off base.
Well, maybe you can tell us where you were on Saturday, January 17th, huh?
Sure, I was home helping Pearl. We just moved into the new place the day before. I was giving her a hand getting things straightened out.
What about Sunday, the 18th?
I worked.
Here?
It's the only job I've got.
What about Monday the 19th?
Same deal.
You were here.
That's right.
What time do you come to work?
I get in about 6:30, line things up in the kitchen. We open at 7:30.
You're pretty sure where you were on the 19th. Huh?
Positive.
Any special reason you're so sure?
What do you mean?
Well, any reason you'd remember you were working on that day?
Nothing besides I haven't missed a day since I took the job.
When was that?
About a year and a half ago. You'd have to check with the boss.
He'd have a record on what days you were here, huh?
That old skinflint, he's got a note on every minute I was in the kitchen. Probably tell you how many eggs I fried since I've been cooking for him.
You want to check on that, Frank?
Yeah.
I want you to look at something here, Langley, and tell me if you know who it belongs to.
Sure, what do you got?
Right here.
It's a cheap watch. It isn't mine.
You ever seen it?
I don't think so.
You ever been arrested?
Why you ask that?
Have you?
No,
Never been in trouble with the police?
not in California.
Where?
Texas.
Where in Texas?
Galveston.
What was the beef?
Drunk driving and nailed me on the boulevard.
What'd you draw?
Paid a fine, did 10 days.
That's the only trouble you've ever had with the police?
That's it.
You're sure about this watch?
Yeah.
Never saw it before?
No.
Joe.
Yeah. Be right back, Langley.
I'd appreciate it if you could step it up. The boss is going to start docking me if I'm off much more.
Yeah. What do you got?
I checked with the owner.
Uh-huh.
Looks like we're far out on this thing.
Huh?
Langley was working all day the 19th.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
We contacted the authorities in Galveston and talked with officers Rex Torian and Reuben Guzman. They told us that Mike Langley had been arrested for drunk driving. They went on to say that he'd lived in the beach city for several years and that until his arrest, he had never been in trouble. We brought him down to the city hall and we talked to him further. The victims of the holdup were asked to a special show-up, but although they said Langley looked quite a bit like the stick-up man, they couldn't give us a positive identification. He was released from custody. On Thursday, February 19th, we got a call from him asking us to come out to his home. Frank and I left the office and drove to the Gilbert Street address. We met Langley and his wife.
You met my wife, Pearl, didn't you?
Yes, sir, we did.
Yeah.
We met yesterday.
Now, what'd you want to see us about, Langley?
Sit down.
Can I get you anything? A cup of coffee, something?
No, thank you, ma'am.
I hate to bring you guys out here, but I want to get this thing cleared up.
Yes, sir, we do, too.
You got that watch with you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Here you are. Oh, thanks. Now, I got to thinking about it last night, about why you think it was mine.
Yes, sir.
I guess it didn't make much of an impression on me at the time, but I remembered it.
Yeah?
I figured out how you got my name on it.
Yes, sir.
I did take the watch in to be fixed. It isn't mine, but I did have it fixed.
Well, who does it belong to?
My cousin, Herbert Langley. He got in some trouble, and when he was at Quentin, he sent the watch out to me to have it fixed. I guess I must have forgotten all about it.
You know where he is now?
He was staying here with us.
How long ago, ma'am?
Oh, he got here the day after we moved into the house.
That'd be Sunday.
Yeah, I remember because Mike and me were trying to get the place straightened out, and Herb didn't do anything but sit around and guzzle beer. Didn't lift a hand to help.
Is he here now?
You mean staying here?
Yes, ma'am.
No, he moved out about a week ago.
Did he tell you where he was going?
No, just said he was tired of being a fifth wheel and left.
Him and Pearl didn't get along too good.
We sure didn't. One thing I don't go is a man that doesn't work. Laying around the house all day or else down at some bar, drinking all day.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what he was in jail for?
Herb kept telling us it was a bad beef. They didn't have anything to do with it.
What was it charged, do you know?
Robbery.
Where was that?
Up north, was it San Rafael, wasn't it, honey?
A real bum.
Wish you wouldn't say that, Pearl.
Why not? It's true.
You just didn't understand him.
No, and I didn't want to. I don't like him. I never did. All the time laying around, giving orders, wanted to be waited on, hand and foot. Always asking for something. Him and that lousy coffee. That was the end when he started asking for that Irish coffee.
What do you mean?
Oh, coffee, Irish whiskey, and whipped cream. Something he heard about someplace.
Do you know where he is now?
No.
How about you, sir?
Well, I haven't got the address, but he did say something about going back to see Mother.
Where would that be?
Texas. He wasn't sure. He just said he was thinking about it, though.
Uh-huh. Did he say when he was coming back?
No. Him and Pearl had a beef before he left.
Yeah.
Packed a bag, said he'd never be back.
We got a complete description of Herbert Langley and a snapshot of him. Frank and I went back to the office and put in a call to Fred Galloway in the Adult Authority office. He contacted Sacramento and got Langley's prison number. We checked the coming out mug books and got a good picture of the suspect. This was shown to the victims, and they identified him positively as the holdup man. A local and an APB were gotten out on him, and a radiogram was sent to the authorities in Galveston, Texas, asking them to check on the suspect. We got a list of his known friends and other relatives. These were interviewed, but they were unable to give us any further leads on Langley's whereabouts. A week went by. On Friday, February 27th, Frank and I got back into the office from the main jail.
Think he's telling the truth?
Yeah, well, if he is, it's the first time. He hasn't had an honest job in the last 6 years. Better check the book, huh?
Yeah.
Robbery, Stewart. Yeah, just a minute. Joe, take one.
Thanks, Stu. One?
One.
Miss Friday. Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh. Well, no, he won't hear it from us. Yeah. Well, how long ago was that? Yeah. All right, no, we'll check it out. Thanks for calling us. Right? Bye.
Nothing in the book.
It was Pearl Langley on the phone.
Yeah?
She just got a message from the suspect.
Yeah?
He's in town. Frank and I, along with Stewart, Creasy, Stromwell, and Stoner, checked out of the office and went over to the bar on Winona Street. Mrs. Langley had told me on the phone that her brother-in-law had sent a telegram to the house asking that her husband meet him there after work. When we got to the place, the suspect wasn't there. Stewart and Creasy covered the front of the bar, while Stromwell and Stoner staked out on the alley at the back of the place. Frank and I went inside and talked to the bartender, Van Gordon.
Hi, Joe, Frank.
Van?
How's it going?
You seen the fella Nick that you told us about?
No, not since I talked to you. If you'd been in, I'd sure given you a call. Why?
Well, we got word he's in town. Supposed to show up here.
How heavy is he?
Well, we don't know for sure.
You found out who he is yet?
Yeah, we made him for a Herbert Langley.
You got him for the market job?
Victims say he's the man, yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, when did he say he was going to be here?
Oh, the way we got it, sometime this afternoon.
Say you're going to take him here?
Then try.
Well, do me a favor, will you?
Try to. What's that?
Well, if there's a beef, will you try and steer him outside before it gets spat out? I don't want the place broken up.
We'll do what we can.
We get you anything while you're waiting?
How about some coffee?
Yeah, I think there's some left. I don't know how good it is.
Well, as long as it's hot and black.
Well, I'll get a couple of cups. You want to drink it here at the bar?
No, we'll take it in one of the booths. Bar.
Okay. Hey, you'll remember, huh?
What's that?
I'll try to steer him outside.
Yeah, Van. Frank and I sat down in the booth and we waited. 2:30 p.m. 3. No sign of Langley. 3:30. Several people came in and sat down at the bar. The bartender tried to get him out of the place as soon as he could. In the event there was any trouble, we didn't want anyone to get hurt. 4 o'clock. 4:15.
Hi, Van. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good, Nick. Where you been?
Oh, took a couple of weeks out of town. Had some business to do.
Uh-huh. How'd it be?
Irish coffee, huh?
Yeah.
Put some whipped cream on it this time.
Sure.
That's him. Let's go.
Yeah.
You ever been up through Washington, Van?
No.
You should try to make the trip sometime. Sure beautiful. Got something you want?
Herb Langley?
Well, who's asking?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
They're right.
Stand up.
What's the charge?
Robbery. Now stand still.
I'll shake him, Joe.
Get him outside, huh? Steer him outside. Don't break up the place. Get out of here. Come on, get out of here.
All right, come on. Get up. Want a cup?
Yeah. Oh, look at this place. Just look at it. It's going to take me a couple of weeks to open it up again.
Oh, we're sorry about it, Van.
Oh, this isn't going to do much good where the place is smashed up. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to make it right?
I wouldn't know.
See, I asked you to steer him outside. I asked you, steer him outside.
Well, he didn't give us much choice.
Huh?
This is the way he wanted it.
Nice to say, but who's going to pay for it?
Well, it wouldn't do much good if I told you.
Huh?
He's got another bill to pay first.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 13th, trial was held in Department 92, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Herbert Colby Langley was tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 1 count, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. You get a call to investigate unknown trouble. The caller gives no indication of what's wrong. Your job, check it out.
It was Saturday, July 18th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Warman. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from questioning a suspect, and it was 10:56 a.m. when I got back to our car. Unit 1K80.
Did you get me a pack, too?
Yeah, here you are.
Thanks. Say, Joe. Wonder if you'd do me a favor.
I just did. I bought you a pack of cigarettes.
No, something else.
Well,
I've been thinking about taking a sergeant's exam. See if I can crack it this time.
yeah.
I figure I got about 6 months before they're going to hold him again. Gives me plenty of time to get ready.
It's a lot of work. You're going to have to really hustle the books, you know.
Yeah, I know. I talked to Faye about it last night. Got it all squared away. The in-laws aren't going to come out this year. That's what loused me up last year.
It is, huh?
Sure, Joe. You know our house. We had Army cops all over the place, kids running around screaming. Nobody can study like that.
You going to be able to work out the classes?
Well, I'm going to have to. I can sure use the extra money. Faye and me'd like to do some work on the house. About the only way we can do it if I make sergeant.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Well, I wondered if you kind of helped me out along the way. You made it. You tell me what to do and what to watch out for.
Well, I'll do what I can for you, but there isn't anybody who can make it for you besides yourself. You know?
Yeah, I know that, but just as long as you're in my corner, old buddy.
I'll be in your corner.
Attention all units.
You better get there.
Yeah.
All units. At 5291 La Miranda Street, investigate unknown trouble. That's at 5291 La Miranda Street. Investigate unknown trouble. Car 11F93, take the call. Code 3, KMA 367.
This is Miranda now, isn't it here?
Yeah, 6100 block. We must have just passed the place.
I didn't see anything, did you?
Me either.
It's code 3. It's important. Make a U and we'll go back and check it out.
Right. It should be up here on the right.
5800, a couple of blocks up there. Take it easy. You should be in here.
Yeah. Well, doesn't look like there's any trouble.
Think this is it? You want to pull up?
Yeah. At the back of the court. 5291. There's nothing going on.
Yeah. Well, maybe I better verify that address, huh?
Yeah.
1K80 to Control 1.
Control 1 to 1K80. Go ahead.
Would you repeat the address on the call to La Miranda Street?
Stand by 1K80.
See anything?
No. There's probably some kids having a time.
Yeah.
Control 1 to 1K80. That address is 5291 La Miranda. 5291 La Miranda.
Roger, Control 1. 1K80, code 6 at that address. KMA 367. Well, this is it. We better check it out, huh?
All right. Well, there's nothing wrong here.
Doesn't look like it, does it?
There's somebody back there, Joe. See him at the window?
Get down, Frank. How about it? I don't know. One thing's sure.
Yeah.
They didn't send for us. The 5 units of the court were arranged in the shape of a U. 5291 was the building at the far end. In the center, running between the 2 wings, was a grass area. Large palm trees were growing at either end, and there was a wrought iron table and 4 chairs in the center of the area. From what we could see of the building the shot had come from, the only door was the one facing us. Frank and I ducked over to the left side of the court to the unit occupied by the manager. We waited on the porch until the felony car that had been assigned to the call arrived. While the officers from the unit covered the house, Frank and I went to the manager's place and talked to him. He identified himself as Marshal Rice. He appeared to be nervous and upset.
I don't know why it should be so tough. You get him out of there. That's all I care about. Just get him out.
What'd you say the man's name was?
Dudley Gray.
You the one who called the police?
Yeah, I called him right after he took the first shot. I wasn't going to wait around for no repeat performance.
Mm-hmm. You have any idea why he's doing this?
Only one that makes any sense.
What's that?
He's wigged.
Sir?
Flipville. He's gone straight up.
Did you talk to him this morning?
Yeah, I went back there about 8:30. Wanted to get some things straightened out. Hadn't had a cup of coffee with him and Charlotte.
Who's Charlotte?
His wife. Real doll. She sure don't deserve to come up with a flip like him.
How'd he seem then?
You mean when I talked to him?
That's right.
All right, I didn't notice anything. If I had, I'd have called you then instead of waiting for this to happen.
And what'd you talk about?
Well, different things. We've been planning on doing a little remodeling, painting papers.
Yeah.
Dudley's been helping me. Lost his job a couple of months ago. Since then, he's just been sitting around watching the TV. Not doing a lick of work. So I asked him to give me a hand with a redecorating. Guy's already 6 weeks behind in his rent. Just goes to show. Well, you try to be nice to a guy, try to give him a hand. What happens? He kicks you. He's no good. He's no good at all. You'll find out when he comes out. You'll see then.
How long have they lived here?
It's been a couple of years. You need the exact date they moved in?
No, sir, not right now. You ever had any trouble with them before this?
Nothing like this, that's for sure.
But you have had trouble, huh?
Well, sure. Just try to live together and not have a little beef now and then.
What were the disagreements about?
Different things. Sounds kind of silly when you talk about him.
Well, it might help us get him out if we knew what caused this.
Well, like he likes one baseball team, I like another. He don't like to fish, I don't like to hunt, things like that. Lay him out in the sun, they just dry right up. Silly little thing.
Anything else?
Well, guess I might as well tell you. You'll find out anyway.
What's that?
Oh, Dudley thought there was something between Charlotte and me. Of course, there wasn't, but you just couldn't convince him he was off base. Wasn't anything could convince him.
He said something about that this morning, did he?
Yeah, we were just sitting there talking about how he ought to help me out with a painting. Charlotte said he should. All of a sudden, he got this kind of wild look in his eye. Told me he knew all about me and his wife. Said I wasn't fooling anybody. Well, we just sat there. He didn't know what to think. Picked up his coffee cup and flung it across the room, smashed it against the wall. Coffee all over the place, streaming down the walls, ruined the paint. Told me to get out of the house and to leave Charlotte alone. Said if he ever saw me talking to her again, he'd make me sorry I did.
Well, what about his family now? Are they in the house?
I'm pretty sure they ain't. Charlotte took the kids and left right after I did. I saw them walk out.
You know where they went?
Well, I can't help you there.
Does she have any people or friends in the neighborhood here?
Not that I ever heard. Got a sister down in National City, but I don't think she went there.
Why say that?
She didn't have no grips. She'd have gone there. She'd have taken clothes for the kids. Didn't have no grips when she left. Pretty sure she didn't go in National City.
But you don't know where we can find her, huh?
Not the least. Might have gone to a show till Dudley calms down. How do you figure to get him to come out?
Well, we'll try to talk to him first, reason with him.
That ain't going to do it. He hasn't got any reason left to do a thing like this.
Well, we got to try.
You're going to have to kill him. You just wait and see. That's the only way you're going to get him out. Shoot the house full of holes and hope he gets in the middle. That's the only way.
We hope then.
You'll see. Something else you ought to know.
Yeah, what's that?
That gun he's got, the .22 rifle?
Yeah. He's
got a real thing about guns. Big collection. Rifles, pistols, automatics, a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And they all work.
We got a description of Dudley Gray, and we called it into R&I. We found that he had no record in our files. We got in touch with Captain Lorman and filled him in. We requested that additional teams of men be dispatched with tear gas equipment and shotguns. The men from the felony unit covered the back of the house, while Frank and I covered the front. All of the other tenants of the court were instructed to stay indoors. 11:14 a.m. With Frank standing by, I went up to the porch to try and talk to Gray. Gray? Gray, I want to talk to you.
I got nothing to say to you.
Why don't you put the gun down and come on out here?
You try to take this place, I'll kill you all.
No reason for that.
I know who you are. You don't have to try to kid me. I know you.
The police officers, Gray. We want to help you.
Yeah, you don't have to lie. You just want me to open the gates and let you and the rest of them in here. Well, you go back and tell the chief I won't do it.
All right, come on out here, Gray. Put the gun down. Let's talk it over.
I'm telling you, I got nothing to say. Come sneaking around here trying to get me to let you in. As soon as you're inside, you burn the place down, run off all the horses.
Run off what?
Yeah, I chew the KG-1. Well, it won't work. Told you, I know who you are. You go tell the chief that it didn't work. Not one Indian's getting in here, not one. I'm going to defend this fort till the cavalry gets here. They'll show you. Division on the way right now.
Gray, come on out here. We're on your side. We want to help you.
That's a lie. You got different clothes on, but I still recognize you. You were scouting around here last week, I remember. Now you get out of here.
Come on, Gray. Give us a break. Let's talk it over.
Joe?
Right with you. What about it? I don't know. He thinks he's in a fort. Told me he thought I was an Indian. You heard him. Yeah, I heard. From what the landlord says, he can hold out in there as long as he wants. Yeah. Maybe if we could find his wife, we might be able to come up with the answer. All right, I'll check with the rest of the neighbors, see if they can tell us anything. Yeah, I'll go on back and try to talk to him. Wait a minute. Take it easy, Joe. He sounds pretty sick. Yeah. Check the boys in the back, will you, and see if there's any way of getting to him from there. Right.
I see you out there. I see you. Now, don't try anything. I'm ready for you.
Sure you are, Gray. We couldn't put anything over on you.
You bet you can. I'm too smart for you.
How long do you think it'll be before the cavalry gets here, Gray?
Should ride in a couple of days. Left Tucson day before yesterday. Should be here day after tomorrow.
Sure gonna fix up the Indians then, won't you, Gray?
Yeah, gonna make them sorry they ever tried this.
Gray, how about letting us fight on your side? We'd sure like to be with you.
You mean that?
Sure, we'd like to be with a smart fellow like you.
Not kidding.
No.
How can I know if I can trust you?
Well, you can. I couldn't do anything that'd hurt you.
No, I suppose not. Okay, come on in. I can use somebody to watch if the Indians start using fire arrows. Come on in. Okay, I'll keep you covered. As soon as you get here, I'll take the bar off the gate.
All right.
Now, hurry up. Them Indians see you. They'll be all in here.
Want to open the gate?
Wait till you get a little closer. Can't take any chances.
Almost there, Gray. You better open the door.
Yeah, just a little closer. Thought you could fool me. Well, it didn't work, did it? Didn't work. You found out it didn't work.
When Gray fired at me, I dropped to the ground while Frank and the other officers returned the fire, driving the man away from the window. 11:47 a.m., the additional men arrived from the office with tear gas equipment. It was distributed, and we worked out a plan to take Gray. It was decided that 2 men would cover the right side of the house while another team covered the back. Frank and I would go around to the left side and fire tear gas shells into the building until Gray had to leave. 11:58 a.m. All of the officers were in position, and Frank and I started to move in to use the tear gas guns.
All right. That's enough of that. Just get out of there.
Other buildings, yeah, I see her.
You just get out of that garden. Go on now, out.
Would you get back in the house, please? We don't want to get hurt here.
Then you just better get right out of my azaleas. You knock down one more bush and you're in trouble.
You don't understand, ma'am. There's a man in that house, and he's got a gun.
I don't care about Mr. Gray. What he does is his own business. I'm just telling you to get out of my flowers. All the year I've been worrying over it, trying to coax a blossom out of them. Now you come around here with your big feet and ruin it all.
We're sorry about that, but we have to get Gray out of that house.
Then do it without stepping all over my flowers. You're a cop. You're supposed to know how to handle things like this. And look what you've done to my tuberous begonias. 3 months I've been working with them. Just put them out last week, and now look, they're all broken. You just ought to be ashamed of yourself, big men like you doing a thing like this to my flowers. Ashamed.
Look, ma'am, if we hurt your flowers, we're sorry.
As you did.
Think you better get inside now, lady?
Are you telling me what to do?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a direct order.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll go, but you just remember, you ordered me to go. You're going to hear about this young man. What's your number?
Beg your pardon?
What's the number on your badge? I intend to report you for this. You'll find out. Or tuberous begonias. You'll find out. Now, what's your number?
Frank, you want to handle it? Yeah. Come on, ma'am. We can talk right over here.
Oh, you don't think you can soft-soap me out of it. I'm going to cause a lot of trouble, a lot of it. Nothing you can do to stop me.
If you'll just go on inside, well, I'll talk to you later.
All right, but I'll be watching you. I'll be right here watching you.
Well, there's one for you. Yeah, well, let's get on this. Right. Think we'll need the mask? Well, we shouldn't out here. How's it look out front? It's all right. Glendo and LaMonica are out there. Yeah. Whenever you're ready. That should bring them out. I'll get another one ready. Better hold it up. Here comes McCready.
Right. Hey, hold it up, Joe.
What do you got, Jack?
Just found out.
Yeah?
Gray's wife and kids are in there with him.
Sergeant Jack McCready was standing by in the manager's office when Mrs. Gray had telephoned from the house. With the possibility that innocent people might be hit, we were unable to fire into the home. We met with Captain Warman and discussed the methods we could use to get the woman and children out of the place. We worked out a plan. It would depend entirely on being able to talk to Mrs. Gray and explain what we were trying to do. Frank and I went to the manager's place and put in a call to the house. How about it? It's just starting to ring. Figure it'll work? I don't know. The only way we can make it go is to talk to the woman, explain the setup to her. Did you get in touch with the office about the doctor? Yeah. They're sending a psychiatrist out. He might be able to talk to Gray. I hope so. Anything? No. Looks like we're in trouble. Yeah. She won't answer the phone.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Without being able to talk to the woman, there was little chance that the plan for getting her and the children out of the house would work. 1:14 p.m. A large crowd of people had gathered on the street in front of the court. Additional policemen from Metro Division had to be called in to control them. From time to time, Dudley Gray would scream something at the bystanders and fire into the crowd. So far, we'd been able to keep the curious citizens back far enough so that none of them were hurt, but it was only a matter of time before our luck ran out. Meanwhile, we were still faced with the problem of first getting the wife and children out of the house before we could attempt to take the man himself. 1:29 p.m. While Frank and Sergeant Jack McCready went around to the back of the house to ascertain the possibility of removing the family from that side, I again attempted to talk to Gray. Gray? Gray? Come on, Gray, we want to talk to you.
I thought I killed you, Indian.
Come on, Gray. We're police officers. We're trying to help you if you'll give us the chance.
You expect me to believe that?
It's the truth.
Yeah, well, that's what you say. I'll give you something.
What's that?
You better get out of here and take your friends with you. As soon as the cavalry gets here, you're all going to be in trouble.
Now, come on, Gray. There isn't any cavalry. You're in Los Angeles. You're sick, Gray. We want to help you if you'll give us the chance.
I don't need nothing from you.
What about your wife and kids? You going to have them hurt?
They're all right. Nothing's going to get to them. They're all right.
They aren't going to stay that way with you shooting that gun.
Well, you let me worry about it. They're my family. No concern of yours. They're mine.
And you're going to have them killed, are you?
Well, that's a lie. Why do you think I'm doing all this? It's for them, so they can get out of here. I want a bunch of Indians swarming all over the place. It's for them I'm doing it.
It's kind of hard to buy, Gray. It's hard to see what you're trying to protect them from.
What do you think you are to tell me that? Don't you think I know what's going on? All the time sitting in here looking at you people trying to take things away from me. You don't think I know what's going on, huh? Well, you just save your breath. Save everything. I know what's right. I know it, and I'm doing it.
Tell you what, we'll make a deal with you, Gray.
What kind of deal can you make?
Let your wife and kids come out. Let us take care of them. Give us a chance to prove that we're on your side.
Well, you can't catch me with that one again. You tried once before, and it didn't work, remember? You tried once before.
We didn't cause you any trouble.
I don't believe anything you say. Might as well save your breath. All you Indians are tricky. You're not fooling me.
What about all the people out there in the street?
Well, what about them?
You want to hurt them, too?
Be real honest with you. The one you got coming, but I'll be honest.
All right.
I don't much care. They're dumb enough to get caught in the middle of an Indian war. It's their tough luck.
You've come close to shooting a couple of them, you know.
Then tell them to go back to their homes. Leave the fighting to the men.
Come on, Gray. Let's get together and talk things over out here. What do you say?
Nothing doing. You get me out of the fort and you'll try something. I'm not falling for that. What? And what are you trying to do?
I don't know what you're talking about, Gray.
Don't try that with me. You're trying to break into the back of the place. Well, it won't work. I'll take care of you all. Joe, get out of there.
All right. How about it? We're getting the gas equipment ready now. Yeah. We've got his family out. While I'd kept Gray busy in front of the house, Frank and Jack McCready had gone around to the rear. They'd found the room where Mrs. Gray and the children were hiding. By breaking a window, they'd been able to remove them from the house. The children were taken to one of the neighbors, and Mrs. Gray was waiting for me in the manager's place. Outside, the members of Homicide Detail were making preparations to get Dudley Gray out of the house.
Thank God you got us out of there. I don't know how to tell you.
It's all right now, Miss Gray.
The children, where are they?
They're next door. Don't worry about them.
What about Dudley? What are you going to do about him?
Well, we're trying to get him to come out of the house.
Going to have to shoot him?
Well, that depends on how he wants it.
Oh, he's sick, Sergeant. You know that. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Sure, we know it, but your husband's in there taking pot shots at anybody who comes near him. Only a matter of time before somebody gets so close he can't miss.
There's some way to get him to give up. You're a policeman. There's been things like this before. It seems like it'll be your job to get him out without hurting him.
Well, we're trying. What caused this to happen?
A lot of things, Sergeant.
Well, Miss Gray, if we knew what's wrong with him, it might help. Could you give us some kind of an angle on him?
I don't know how long it's been building. Maybe a year, maybe longer. It's hard to say. You try to take care of the family, keep it together. Sometimes you don't see the signs.
Yes, ma'am.
It might be my fault. I guess it is. Just all of a sudden things got too heavy for him to carry. He lost his job. We couldn't pay the bills. Got so I wouldn't answer the phone because I knew it was somebody wanting their money.
I try to take it easy, Miss Gray.
He didn't have any way to get the pressure off. No way at all. It finally got him.
All right, go ahead.
You sure the children are all right? They're being taken care of?
Yes, ma'am, they're fine.
Are they having lunch? I couldn't fix them anything. They haven't eaten since this morning.
I'm sure they'll be fed.
Alice is kind of picky with her food and needs coaxing to eat.
They'll be all right, Miss Gray. Now, would you go on, please?
Well, it finally broke this morning. Once it started, there wasn't anything we could do. Marshall came over.
That's the manager?
Yes, he came over to ask Dudley if he'd help with the painting. Mentioned that it'd be a way to pay some of the back rent. Didn't mean anything. Dudley just took it the wrong way.
What's that?
Marshall told him about the rent. I said it was nice of him to give Dudley the chance to make it up. I didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah.
Dudley got up from the table and went into the living room and turned on the television. Didn't say a word to me, just got up and walked out.
Mm-hmm.
Sat there watching a picture, one of those cowboy things. Just sat there and watched it.
Yeah.
Kids went in and tried to talk to him, so did I. Tried to bring him out of it. Didn't even know we were in the room. Just sat there and looked at the picture.
Has your husband ever been under the care of a doctor?
You mean for his mind?
That's right.
No, I was afraid to ask him. I should have, but it just seemed that it'd mean another bill. That was causing all the trouble anyway. I told you I was trying to believe that it wasn't anything serious, that it'd go away.
Yeah.
It's been better to have the bill. Anyway, he sat there for a while, then he just got up and walked to the closet, picked up the rifle, and told me and the kids to get into the back bedroom. Said that they weren't going to take the place.
Did you know what he meant?
Well, no, not at first. I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know it'd be as bad as this.
Is there anybody your husband's particularly fond of?
Well, we've been married for 8 years, Sergeant. I guess I could qualify
That
for
is what I mean, ma'am. Is there anyone that he'd listen to, a friend, maybe a minister or a priest?
No, any friends he had have gone. They didn't understand his moods. There isn't anybody.
All right, Miss Gray.
Joe, see you, man.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah.
We ran out of time.
Huh?
Gray just shot a cop.
The officer was not seriously wounded. He was removed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital for treatment. People in the adjoining units were evacuated. The streets were cleared as much as possible, and the men were in position to move in. Frank, Jack McCready, and I were opposite the front door of the house. From Mrs. Gray, we learned that her husband had several hundred rounds of ammunition for the rifle that he was using. In addition to this, he had several handguns and ample shells for them. She told us that the other guns were located in a closet in the rear of the place. It was decided to pour tear gas into the back windows and try to keep Gray away from the other guns. Frank was armed with a sawed-off shotgun loaded with double-aught butts. McCready had a .45 caliber machine gun. The officers were in position and the signal was given.
There go the gas guns.
Yeah. They should be coming out pretty quick. Hope we can take them without killing them. We'll try.
Gas is starting to come through the front windows.
Go in. I quit.
All right, throw the gun out, Gray. Throw the gun out.
I won't do it.
Come on, throw that gun out.
Lay low, lay low.
He's down.
Come on.
He still got the gun. Is he dead?
No, you better get an ambulance.
I'll take care of it.
Is he dead? Did you kill him?
No, ma'am.
Oh, Dudley. I should have known. I should have seen.
He's going to be all right, Mrs. Gray. The doctor's on the way.
He's sick. He didn't know what he was doing. That's all. He didn't know what he was doing.
Yes, ma'am.
He knows we love him. That's all that counts. We love him and want to take care of him. He didn't think anybody cared for him. That's what was wrong. He just didn't know.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe when he gets well, he'll know everybody wasn't against him. He'll know people care. Don't you think that's all that's wrong?
I wouldn't know, ma'am, but he took the hard way to find out.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 26th, a preliminary hearing was held in the prison ward of the county hospital in and for the county of Los Angeles, state of California. Dudley Peter Gray was held to answer charges of assault with intent to commit murder. He was examined by 3 psychiatrists appointed by the court and found to be insane. He was confined to the state mental hospital at Camarillo for treatment.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.